Good morning! Second time here on TikTok this morning because we have a lot to go over. I haven't been on TikTok as often as I used to be because I've been working on YouTube and dealing with some other stuff. And so I'm bringing the case of Sebastian Rogers back here on TikTok and covering a few different aspects. We just had a live here on TikTok earlier this morning about some of the other cases in the news, in addition with breaking news about the Sebastian Rogers case, which we're going to go over more in detail here just shortly. Now, At Night Private Intelligence Agency has actually put up a request a couple days ago for any and all media, video, photos, or anything of the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville, located at 309 Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And this is where a lot of the stuff prompted from, with finding out some legitimate, detailed information about what happened the night of February 25th before 6:30. This would have been when Sebastian Rogers actually went to dinner with his mother at the Texas Roadhouse Grill. There's been a lot of information about the Texas Roadhouse Grill that has been speculated wildly. And it's an area that I really haven't spoke about other than the proof of life video, what we dubbed the proof of life video. This we learned about way earlier in the case when Seth Rogers, the biological father of Sebastian, went down to law enforcement, and it was just him and the mother. The stepfather did not go. Well, at that time, they showed Seth a video of his son walking out of the Texas Roadhouse, but they didn't show anything on the inside, according to the father. They only showed them exiting the establishment and getting into her SUV. And the only comment that he says is it didn't appear that his son was as happy as he could have been, or to that effect. Now, since then, there has been some information that we did discuss early on, but a lot of people actually had already moved on because we were talking about a wealth of other cases. And so I wanted to make sure that I went over this information with you so you guys get a whole context. There's two posts from the At Night Private Intelligence Agency. And the first one I'm going to read to you, which kind of is mind-blowing because it does put to rest an issue in this case that many people in the public had no knowledge of. So this is what it says. This is a public update on the search for Sebastian Rogers, and this is from yesterday, November 25th. This is the first of two posts. At Night continues its dedicated efforts to uncover the truth surrounding the disappearance of 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Today, we provide new information regarding the timeline and key events leading up to his disappearance, as well as a renewed appeal for public assistance. Texas Roadhouse verification. Here's the bombshell information. I don't want people speculating on this anymore. It's a topic that we haven't discussed at length because I didn't have enough information, and I've said that over and over again here on TikTok as well as my live. Here's the important part. At Night has independently confirmed that Chris Proudfoot, the stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, was not present with Katie Proudfoot at the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 25th, 2024. This was the location where Sebastian consumed his last known meal and where he was last seen in a verifiable photograph. However, we have not yet confirmed whether Sebastian made it home following this meal. Preliminary findings based on grainy black and white footage show only shadowy silhouette, leaving significant questions unanswered. Texas Roadhouse commitment to the search. We are aware of the speculation surrounding Texas Roadhouse connection to this case. The restaurant has actively participated in efforts to raise awareness about Sebastian's disappearance. Their collaboration with At Night and Dog the Bounty Hunter has been instrumental in raising community support and gathering information. We encourage the community to continue supporting Texas Roadhouse as they remain committed to assisting in the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Reward for information. Now, we're going to go over to the next one. This reward has now officially been recalled. On November 23rd, At Night issued a reward for relevant photographs or videos that could provide critical insight into Sebastian's final hours. Location, Texas Roadhouse, 309 Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Date and time, February 25th, 2024, between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. Reward $500 to $5,000 for qualifying material. If you were present at the restaurant on this date and have photos or videos, your submission could be vital to the investigation. And it states how that investigation, how to contact them with that information. Now, here is the second of the two messages on X by At Night Private Intelligence Agency. And this one is the follow-up of November 25th. It says, At Night wishes to thank the community for its overwhelming support in response to our recent request for photos and videos related to the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Your cooperation has been instrumental in advancing our goal to bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home. We are pleased to announce that thanks to the community's contributions, we have gathered sufficient materials related to Texas Roadhouse and will no longer require additional photos or videos from February 25th, 2024. The materials provided have been reviewed by our licensed investigators and are currently undergoing further analysis. Your engagement has made a meaningful impact, and we are deeply grateful for your assistance in this critical effort. Current operations. The At Night is working independently from local and state law enforcement. We are coordinating exclusively with licensed investigators retained for our mission who are trained in high-risk missing person cases. Findings are shared with Operation Rescue Me on a regular basis or in real time when urgent information arises. How can you help? While the specific Texas Roadhouse inquiry has been concluded, we continue to encourage anyone with direct, credible information regarding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' disappearance to come forward. And it lists a lot of, information, the Sumner County 615-451-3838 number, the TBI number, 1-800-TBI-FINE, or you can reach out to your local FBI, nearest American Embassy or consulate, or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. I didn't even see that you guys were messaging below. I'll have to go back and read your comments here in just a second when I finish this. And it says, thank you for your continued support. Together, we will ensure that every action taken moves us closer to finding Sebastian and reuniting him with his family. Every detail matters, and we are determined to follow every lead to its conclusion. We thank you and your continued vigilance and support in this mission. Together, we will find Sebastian and bring him home safely. So that kind of is everything in a nutshell when it comes to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They've also increased the reward to $200,000. Now, many of you in this morning heard me talking about this secret door and this breaking news of information where I think I've identified the only area on the property that would not have video surveillance too. And I wanted to go over it with TikTok because I know that many of you guys just don't go over to YouTube. I get it, okay? But YouTube's where it's at, okay? YouTube's where it's at. Hey, Chasing Crimes, nice to see you. So I was talking yesterday on my live on YouTube about the possibility of having cameras around the house. This was taken from another creator. They believe that there was a camera right here. And I do believe that actually may be a camera. But if you guys remember, back when we started this case, we heard that there were no cameras on the property, but because of this alleged harassment, we all know where the harassment's coming from, and it's not toward them. I mean, there are people on their content, on their channels like me that show their inconsistencies and have our opinion of the mom and the stepfather. As far as actually going and physically harassing them at their home, business, that's bull. That's bull. Driving on public roadway does not constitute harassment. In some cases, I guess it could if it was every single day. But in this case, we have these people doing this smoke and mirror to explain why they have to run away from home, why they can't be there, why they can't answer. They're creating this fake issue in their life. And one of those things was they ended up installing a security system and camera at their house, but we're learning there was already a security system in the home at this time, and prior to them purchasing it was actually manned by ADT, which we all know the mom works for Brinks. Did that ever get over to Brinks? Did they ever have it set up? We don't know, but it's my opinion because the creator that had this photo, I trust in part. I don't know her very well, but I don't see her creating, photoshopped photos, if that makes sense, okay? So I believe that this camera here may have been installed after the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. But yesterday when I was on my live, I was talking about the possibility of cameras, and of course I was explaining how, Photoshop stuff. So one of my subscribers actually sent me some photos of the home to say, hey, I don't see any cameras on the home. From prior to them purchasing it, from the Zillow photos and stuff like that. And it kind of put me into this, I don't know, research fest, I guess is what I could call it, where I actually dug in and it's like, okay, where are all the cameras? Where are they pointing to? And where could, these lights been seen any other place besides on that one camera that we learned about? So I'm thinking, okay, do they have gates that is accessible? Can they get out of this backyard? And so I did learn that there was a gate on the other side right behind this white truck. There is two gates that open. One, you can open one or you can open both of them and make a wider opening. But it's right in this area here. Now, there are there's cameras across the street. We know that there's one neighbor that's almost directly across the street that kind of guides the front of their house up to the front door. There's actually a catty-cornered property that lines up possibly with watching this area where these gates are. And it is possible somebody could have left through the gates and back around the house to where the lights video starts, okay? There is that possibility. But honestly, this is the side that is obstructed by all these trees. If you look at the other side of the home, which is right here, I guess I cut it off. Right here, there is a house that could make up some side over there. But this is the side that is fully obstructed by any camera views at all, is this one side here. And this is kind of the path that I believe. There's a way to go next to the fence and come down this way, and there's a way to come straight down this way. Two different, because when we saw the lights video was actually, you have one light coming from one direction and one light coming from a little bit of a different direction. This would explain both of those directions related to the outside of the house. Now, this right here, again, there's a tree here blocking any type of view from cameras over here. And there's a line of trees that are right here, further blocking any camera view. This is the most obscured area of the home that a child and or assailant could go to, enter, and leave without being detected by cameras. Now, again, as you see here, there is no gate here that somebody could exit out of. However, this fence here is only a 4-foot fence. You wouldn't even need to really climb it to get over it. You would just need to cross over it. So most of us don't have legs that are 4 feet, long, but you could still safely get over this without climbing, right? And you would have to pressure and step over, but this would be the area most interesting in this particular situation. Now, let me go through some of these other ones. Yeah, and you can barely see the driveway right here that would have this side of the house potentially seen through cameras, and that's one of the problems. I've got another photo in here. I got to find it. I think I might have missed it. Right here, it almost looks like a gate, but it's not. We all saw that there is no gate there. And I don't have the one photo that I am looking for. I didn't grab the darn photo. But let me just show you this. This right here, all these trees behind me, when I was there in June, I didn't realize it at the time because I didn't realize these trees were there at the time that Sebastian disappeared, because when I drove by it in June, all these trees were cut down and they were freshly cut. So even the mom and stepdad realized after the fact that this whole side of the house was obscured by these trees from being able to be picked up at all on videos. And I think because of that, they cut them down so they can monitor this area. Now, right behind here, remember the Miss Bobby interview? Well, she talked about a crawl space. This right here is the crawl space under the house, and this is the area the neighbor saw Katie looking in when they were helping her search her property. And I find it awfully odd that it's on this side of the home where there's obscurity from any and all cameras. Now, they can't get to the cameras until they're back over here where the camera picks up the unknown vehicle. I keep calling it a car, but it's not a car, it's a vehicle. We don't know what type of vehicle it is. And that's where that is. So I appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to try to go back and see what kind of questions. Was Sebastian seen going into the house after the Texas Roadhouse? Kelly, the answer is nobody saw the child enter his home. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't enter his home. I'm just saying that nobody saw this child enter his home. What they saw is when they came back from the Texas Roadhouse about 6:40, the mom pulls into the garage right here, and they must exit the garage and go into the house that way. But nobody actually physically saw him at all that night. Now, there is some evidence that a trash can was moved out to the road before, I don't know, they never specifically stated a time. We know that they arrived back at the home about 6:30, 6:40, and we know he went to bed at 9 p.m. So somewhere between 6:40 and 9 p.m., he allegedly took out the garbage. Now, it's my understanding that the garbage can video is very grainy and cannot identify who took the garbage can out. That's the best understanding that I have, and it sounds like that was corroborated by the at night intelligence agency as well, that it is just grainy. So there is that. I would like to know that too. Interesting to me. Yes, a lot of this stuff is very interesting, but this is the only area, and all of these trees right here that you see just the shadow of, they've all been cut down after this child disappeared, which I also find suspect, because was that to throw people off from knowing that that whole side of the house was obstructed from camera view? And this is the path that even, well, Gray Hughes says the stepfather said the path starts here and works here. I don't believe it starts here. I believe the dog started here and was trying to pick up the scent and walked around the house and actually picked up the scent on this side of the house. Because when they're picking up the scent, they're just kind of, you know, aimlessly moving back and forth trying to pick up the scent. But it sounds like a scent was taken, and this was the path that was stated by the stepfather, and also documented on Gray Hughes' channel on YouTube. He actually did this whole video and showed you where the dog path went, and it follows this. It follows this. So when we're looking at this child leaving his home, did he leave his home willingly or unwillingly? Either way, the child left undetected. How could this child leave undetected? And that's where my research started. And after reviewing all the positioning, even these cameras on Kellen Lane and how they view into from across the way, what those things would pick up, this is the most unobscured, undetected, on-camera area this home has. And it's this area right here, and there's no cameras back here. But when they get down here, the neighbor's camera on the other side pick the car up and pick the flashlight video up. Sorry, guys. Delilah wants to say hi. She's all over me right now. She's climbing on my back. You can't see her because I got the green screen on, but she literally just climbed my back over, and then so I grabbed her and said, okay, well, she obviously wants to say hi to everybody. Say hi, TikTok. See, I am the crime-fighting Delilah Bullhorn, and I'm here to fight crime. And bite my mommy. So there you guys have it. I did want to come out here and just show you these things and get your thoughts. If you guys have thoughts on anything that I presented here, please reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We're just trying to make, trying to figure out some stuff. And this is really taking some major analysis of the area, of the home placement, of the Ring doorbell placement, and trying to analyze where is the least amount of cameras on this property. Now, again, there's another possibility on this side, because if the mom's work vehicle was in front of that gate, it could obscure the camera that's angled in that direction. And it is possible that on this side, somebody walked out the gate and back, but it still would be the same situation. They're coming to this path here. And somebody would have had to come out and get on this path and go down, and somebody would have had to get on this path and go down. But this seems the most probable, because the path right here at this location is almost a split where you can go down the fence line or go around the culvert. The culvert starts right here. They have a drainage pipe coming out of the yard right here. And so this would explain why there was lights coming from two separate locations, but being able to join together right before they were around that unknown vehicle. And for those that don't know about this unknown vehicle, I also explain where that came from as well, but I've got some photos in here. Let me just find them. Here we go. Which one does not have the overlay? There we go. And here's the unknown vehicle. Here's the headlights. Here's the back of it. And it's very important because you see that lone dot right down here. Well, when you overlay a QX80, you see they have a decorative indentation in the bumper. And this little lone light down here fits in that decorative indentation of that bumper almost perfectly. Why am I choosing the QX80? There's a few reasons. We learned that by several different eyewitnesses there on the ground that were commuting that morning, that there was this QX80, this Infiniti QX80 sitting in front of Worsham's as early as 5:30 in the morning, some 1 full hour before this child was missing. And then you hear that there was this vehicle the night before with lights coming from the backside of the Proudfoot's home to this vehicle. And this unknown vehicle, and when it was overlaid, when we got the right make, year, and model of the stepfather's mother, it fit like a glove to the entire light source, including where the headlights would be making this light right here. It's not conclusive, but it is a possibility, and a probable possibility, because everything that we know about this family is they really don't have friends. Their friends are their family. And we've heard how strong his mommy comes to bat for him, including talking about, running over someone like Nina, right? So it's not that far of a stretch to think somebody in his family may or may not help him. And so that's where this led me to go, because this was what I had to work with. You got the front lights, so you kind of know where the car is. And you got this back hatch right here. This is a hatch. You can clearly see it. But what I could never explain was this dot right down here, this lone dot. I kept thinking, is that a muffler? Is it a something? And then when I started doing the research on the Infinitis, I realized that QX80 model actually has like this indentation on both sides of the bumper that's decorative. And when you lined it up, it hit that decorative indentation perfectly. Now, again, it's something for law enforcement to figure out whether or not this was a QX80. Whose QX80 is it? That's all for interpretation right now. It's up for speculation, which I'm speculating on, which reminds me, this is allegedly, and in my opinion, do your own research and fact-finding, but this is the research I'm doing. I work very hard to try to get the information as accurate and as proper as possible. Obviously a lot of this is analysis and speculative in nature. When we have something like this and we've got to figure out what it is, of course we use our brains, and being human, we can make mistakes. But what I can tell you is it does appear that something is a little hinky when it comes to this anonymous vehicle. We've talked about this earlier today as well. I'm going to keep hitting on it on every single live we have. This is a cold case from 2016, right from here from Florida, where I reside. And this girl right here is Samantha Fiddler. This guy right here is Teddy Hart. He's a wrestler. He's abused women. He's essayed women. He's kept them confined unlawfully. And this was all happening before he met her. And after he met her, more allegations came out of abuse. She disappears. And then another wrestler by Maria Manick was abused by this man in 2020, which resulted in an arrest. Meanwhile, she's never been located or found. She came to Florida from Canada, leaving her 3 young girls behind for a better life. She was always going back to her children. She just wanted to get trained so she could start making money in the wrestling world for her children and their life moving forward. And then on November 19th, 2016, she never reached out to her children again. And that was completely unlike Samantha. They knew something was wrong. So as of November 19th or somewhere around that time frame, this young girl met with foul play. She was 29 at this time. She'd be 37 today. I believe this man has a lot to answer to, even though he has not been publicly named as a suspect or a person of interest. I do believe he would be the only one with motives, mean, and opportunity. She was new to Florida. He coaxed her here. She disappeared. He's living his best life ever. So he's got a lot of problems as well. He was using, roids, and we all know that they have this thing called roid rage. And it is very possible that this man had that because he's been very abusive to all his women. And one more key fact about this is when her sister called, now mind you, this was after Samantha and him being together for a year, he basically tells her sister he barely knows her and that she's not a good wrestler and would not have been a good student because she couldn't handle getting punched in the face. And I believe that was his admission to causing violent harm to Samantha. So we want to get this man behind bars. He's a dangerous, ruthless criminal that thinks he's a wrestler. He has injured a lot of women in his path. And now one has been missing for 8 years. And we need to bring some answers. So if you have any information, please reach out to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, your local law enforcement, or reach out to the FBI office nearest you. So thank you guys for letting me bend your ear. Again, this is my true path of what I think kind of happened. Whether or not Sebastian left willingly or unwillingly, this would have been most likely the path that would have had to have been taken to avoid the cameras. And we've learned from Eric Craddock that this young boy was never, ever seen on camera. Please don't forget, there is a $200,000 reward for any information leading to his safe return or the successful prosecution of those responsible for his disappearance. All right, guys, thanks for allowing me to bend your ear. I'm just going to take a few minutes to see if anybody has any questions before we close out this one. I'll be on live here all day today running several different stories. So if you guys have not subbed up to the Bullhorn Betty channel here on TikTok, please consider doing it so you don't miss any great updates on this case as well as other cases that we are covering. Oh, thank you, Green Eyes. You have a great day too. Love for Seth. Absolutely. Don't worry. It's all recorded. I don't know what that means, Mama of 3. Thank you, BHB. You're welcome. You're welcome. CP, the orange suit is coming. I know. I hope so. Because we know something's not right. Is Mama of 3, is she being a pain? I couldn't tell if that was being nasty or not, so I just try to be a little liberal with that. She needs to be out of here, Betty. Okay, let me go ahead and block her then. Because we want people that are here for the right reasons, not the ones that are here for the wrong reasons. You know? There we go. Okay. I think that should take care of that. All right. Well, there we go. Let's make sure we got you blocked. Perfect. We don't really care. We don't really care. If you don't understand, I have a freedom of speech issue here, and I'm going to continue to talk about a public interest case, and I could give a rat's ass about any of the damn judges, quite frankly. If they don't rule properly and within the law, we're going to move it on up to the appellate issue. We're just going to keep appealing it until we get it out of that county. So it's simple as that. I know the law. I've researched the law, and I'm on the right side of the law. And I always will be because I follow the law to a T. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers went missing from his home with his mother, Cathy Proudfoot, and his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. Although Chris states that he was not at home and at work at the time and on a crane when he got the call. We have also determined that not to be true as well. There's no way he would have been on the crane at 6:03 in the morning. He didn't arrive at work until 6:30, 3 minutes before he made the 911 call, and he was not up into his crane until 7 a.m. that morning. And he never told his employers that he was missing a stepson and put people's lives in danger while he was trying to run that crane, what I believe, with no sleep. And they ended up having to kick him off the job. That's what really happened. Those things don't make sense. And as soon as he got home, he tells the camera crews not to record his home. So you take that for what you will. I'm going to keep rocking it out with my coffee beans out and telling my audience the truthful information not the information that law enforcement dubs is okay to tell them. I don't work for law enforcement. I work for the Bullhorn Betty channel. My only job is to bring the truth to my people. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and, more importantly, kind to one another. It is the holidays. Ignore the hate, block the hate, kick the hate to the curb, but don't engage in it. It will make you feel bad, and you don't need that baggage going into the holidays. God bless.